Okay. We left off 304 Zion. So we concluded yesterday that everybody agrees to Psakar Mechaber, except one disagrees, that if you have in Yerushalayim Purim falling out on Tezvov, the Megillah is read Friday, which is Gemara, which is a Mishnah. Al Hanisim is said on Shabbos, and the Sudas Purim is on Sunday. And that's based on the Yerushalmi, and that's the way we rule. And you don't say Al Hanisim in Birchas Hamazon during the Suda on Sunday, because it's not Purim, although you're celebrating. Hamforish B'Yam. Shabbos, you would say it in Shemon Esrei. Right? Right, correct. Hamaforish B'Yam. We're going on the ocean. Doesn't say whether you're in the boat nor a kayak. Vayotze B'Shayoro. Person goes out in the caravan into the desert. V'Inamotze Megillah Hochimo. And he's not able to take a Megillah with him. Yikrena B'Yud Gimel or B'Yud Beis or B'Achar Oser B'Lo Brocha. You hear this? He's leaving, and he's not going to have a Megillah when he's on Yudalit. He's going to find himself in the desert. But before he leaves, he has a Megillah. He's able to read it, B'Yud Gimel, B'Yud Beis, or even as early as the 11th. He should read it without a bracha. What about even then? The caravan is leaving earlier, or the boat is going out earlier. It's based on Yerushalmi. No. The Mishnah says the earliest is the 11th. The 11th. Here he says even. There's some say even going back to Rosh Chodesh. See the village. That's l'chatchila. Villages becomes a Monday, Thursday. L'chatchila they read it as early as the 11th. Here we're saying person has no choice. This is a real b'diavad situation. Some say you can even go back as early as Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Chodesh Adar. Hagor, but of course it's without a bracha, because it can't be any better than the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Hagor v'nog vochinog. The Ramos says, and that's the minog. That if you're not going to have a Megillah on the 14th, you read it earlier without a bracha. Miu. Yes, because that was legislated. It was legislated as that. No, because it says when they would come to the city on the 14th, they would bring in food, and they'd be preoccupied with coming in, supplying the city with food and drink. Okay, you review it with David. He'll fill you in on it. I mean, David Segelov. Now, interesting question. He read it on 11th, 12th, 13th. Without, and somehow they came upon a Megillah on the 14th. So if you were already Yotzei, it's a suffix. When you read it on the 14th, you read it again. Let's you read it again. You read it with a bracha, because you may have been Yotzei. No, you read it because it's not simple. Because that was not the main takona. But if you already were Yotzei, the Yevid, so now when you read it on the 14th, first maybe you don't have to, and even you do, but there's a chance since you were Yotzei, you don't say a bracha. Be a sub bracha slohokel. Otherwise, what did you read it? Right? 1 second. Even though he read it on the 13th, if actually you read it in its proper time. Let's see. The Ramah doesn't say a word about the bracha. Does he say bracha? He says he definitely should read it on the 14th, because the earlier reading was not in its proper time. It'll be the same thing. If they would read it again. I said then. That's what I did say. Say here would be a koshke. Right? Definite. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Any motzi Megillah, if he is able to come upon Megillah, he should take it with him. Yikrena B'Yud Gimel. Yep. No, maybe you could rely on a b'diavad. You rely on a b'diavad. You have to watch it. You get lost. You have come up with many reasons why not. Had somebody once years ago went on a boat before Purim, And on Purim, he found himself on the boat, in the Siyat. So he took a Megillah, but he wasn't really qualified to read. So I told him then, he should try to take a recording of the Megillah, and as he listens to the recording, he should read from the Megillah, so read it accurately. You understand? But it's a real complicated situation. It wasn't simple. Even with the tape, I don't know if he would have read it correctly, and if he did, I don't think he made it through the whole Megillah. Maybe he read a few chapters maximum, just to have a sense they read the Megillah, but to do it right, he didn't do it right. So here he has a Megillah, he's there, but it's not going to be done right. So when should he read it? He should get himself a Balkore before he leaves, to read it on the 13th or whatever day he left before Purim, and read it properly, accurately, and then, because on the boat he's not going to be Yotzei. So the answer, he shouldn't go on the boat. Well, that's what something he had to do was, Speak to David. It's a Mishnah. And Megillah. It's a Mishnah Megillah. Right? It has not only to be a cloth, it has to be the sinews, the thread that's stitched together has to be gut. It has to be cow gut. It can't be linen thread, right? Or other kinds of threads. Yeah, you're not. Right. Because it says explicitly, the Gemara in the Megillah cites the pasuk that they legislated Mordechai and Esther. It should be read on the 14th and the 15th. That's what it says explicit. That's the way it was. That's what was legislated. No, good. And the Mishnah says, and Mishnah says explicit. The earliest is the 11th, if you live in a village. So what's even the consideration? So in the Bavli, there's no mention of reading before the 11th. Even the Gemara, it's based on Yerushalmi. So Shalmi says, since the whole month, it says Mishna Berura Purim, the whole month, where it's a month of joy because of what happened. B'di'evid, you're able to read at the beginning of the month. So what it says in the Megillah, that's the optimum time to read. 14th, 15th, villages, because it says Bizman Nehem. There are other times which are similar to that. The Gemara asked the question, where do we come up with 11th, 12th, and 13th? Right? It has to be somehow alluded to in the Psukim of the Megillah. So it cites the Psukim. Bizman Nehem. That there are other times with the equivalent of the 14th and 15th. It's plural. It doesn't say Bizman Nom. It says Bizman Nehem. That's 2 days. First, that's a Doraisa. You're not going to have matzah on Pesach. You can't eat matzah on Hanukkah, right? First, this is rabbinical. That's the main point. And why do we read the Megillah? It's Pesumi Nisa. So since it's a month, no. Since it's a month, we don't say Mishnah Nichnas a Kislev Marbim B'Simcha, right? You say Mishnah Nichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. Okay, we were meant to be physically annihilated. Hanukkah was only spiritual, right? Spiritual assimilation. We're not talking about physical annihilation. And also, it's a Mechis Amolik. It's a whole different level. What Adar is versus what Hanukkah is. They're both Drabbana, right? Purim's a Drabbana and Hanukkah's a Drabbana. They're both Drabbanas. Yeah. Okay, Yikrenev Yud Gimel. Oh, it says Mishur. That's the Yesh Omrim. Yesh Omrim shekori afil mitchilas hachodesh. No, then you missed the boat. Right. Here you're working way up to it. Okay, speaking about person was porish b'yam, missed the boat. Okay, Yikrenev Yud Gimel. You read it on the 13th. B'kibbutz. Oh, now this is important. The Gemara says we rule the halacha that if you read the Megillah on the 14th, you could read it without a minyan. Of course, it's a time of pursuing Nisa. It's better to have a minyan. But if you don't have a minyan, it's fine, even as an individual. What about if you're reading it earlier? He says then you need 10. Because it's not a time for pursuing Nisa. Nobody's reading the Megillah today. So you have to create a setting, a public setting. So you would need a minyan if you're reading before the 14th. The Shalom is mana boya sora. Mayim b'meiri de b'di'ever af b'yochid yotzei. Meiri says no. That even before the 14th, which is not like Rashi and Megillah, Yotze even if you read individually. Now, this is interesting. We speak out 10. There's a famous Ritva I once mentioned. There's a machlokes Rav and Ravasi if you need a minyan if you read the Megillah on the 10th. We rule like Rav, you don't need 10 because it's a time Persumim Nisa. So there the Ritva says for Persumim Nisa, there are two things. We have something which we call Davsha B'Kedusha. One is not able to say Kaddish unless you have a minyan. You're not able to say Kedusha unless you have a minyan. You're not able to have Kriyas HaTorah unless you have a minyan. Then you need 10 men. What about for Persumim Nisa? It can be it's 10 Jews. So the Ritva says even women. Women could comprise the 10 of Persumim Nisa. Mishna Berura says something interesting. He says even minors. What about minors? You have children. We speak. You have to have 10. Could you include minors as part of the number? Even minors would be sufficient. That's what it's because it's Persumim Nisa. It's not a Davsha B'Kedusha. Davsha B'Kedusha is what? That's you need a tzibur. That's Eido. Eido is Davsha B'Kedusha. However, akurak mishum Persumim Nisa. Ein baran shemistabik linyan b'nei kforim shemagdimin lekrosa. He said the Ran questions the villagers who read earlier. Im chuyiv lekrosa gam balaylo odai b'kri b'yom. Interesting. The Ran has a question when it says the villagers read it as early as the 11th. Maybe their obligation is only once, not twice, because we said when is the primary reading? The daytime, not the nighttime. So since they're in a situation which is a compromised situation, so for them they didn't obligate them to read the lesser reading. It's only the primary reading, which is the day reading. It's the same thing. If they're reading it, they're not going to be able to read on the 14th. They're leaving earlier. He says when Tur it seems not like the Ran that you have. If you read it at the earlier date, you have to read it at nighttime also. But what about the actual celebration of Purim? That you have to do on the 14th. Right? So let's say a person, he's traveling all by himself. Or he's just going with Goyim. Right? He's not with Jews. Right? No, he can't. Sudas Purim, he can have whatever. So what he could do is he could designate someone, right? Make a shliach that on the 14th, somebody should give on his behalf, Shloch Monos, like we do, right? Or Matos Lavyonim. People, like when we give money in Eretz Yisrael, when the money's given out, it's already sometime, it's after Purim, right? They're ready, they finish Purim. Or let's say it should be given out in Yerushalayim. When they give it out in Yerushalayim, you understand, it's already, it's the 15th. And if they give it out during daytime, it's after our Purim. Our Purim's over. So you weren't Yosef Matonis Levionim, giving the charity to the poor to provide for their Sudas Purim. It's after your Purim already, correct? So you tell them, when you give it on my behalf on that, right, earlier. It's also not said because the people they're giving it to, it's not their Purim, right? It's Matonis Levionim, okay? Well, let's say they give it out at night. It's night here, it's day there. If one gives Matonis Levionim at nighttime, you're not Yotzei, right? The mitzvahs, all these, they're referred to as mitzvahs hayom. Sudas Purim, Shlov Manus Ishla Re'eu, and it all has to be done during the nighttime. If you say, give it out in Bnei Brak, when they give out Matos Levim Bnei Brak, it's nighttime here. So you're not Yotzei. So you tell them, they give it out, they have to give it out towards the end of the day, later in the afternoon. Otherwise, you're not Yotzei. That's be minimally after what? After sunrise. B'di'evet after dawn, right? But minimally, l'chatchila, after sunrise, it should be given out. It has to be the day mitzvahs, correct? No, that really you do it. He says even though you're going to read it in the desert earlier, but Sudas Purim Shloch Manus Lishreyu Batos Levim should be done on the 14th. So you have no poor Jews with you, right? So you designate a shliach that in the community, even though you're in the desert, they should be given out on your behalf. You don't have to give it. You give it to me, I'm your agent. I call Israel and say, this is the amount of money, give it out. Distribute it at a certain time. I don't want them to distribute it when it's 12 noon in Israel. It's too early for us, right? That means you're acting as my agent. It's not daytime yet. So they have to give it out 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So then we're talking about it's after sunrise by us. So then you yotze l'chatchila. That's their problem. You know, first of all, knowing they could borrow on the money. You know, they go to a store. As long they know in advance they're getting it. There's a yeshomim that feel tchilas hachodesh. Tichsiv hachodesh asher nepach biyogonus. This is Yerushalmi. It says the month that was overturned from angst to joy. Choseh v'koreos b'yudal. And Ramos says, "Hainu birchoseh." He says explicitly. Ramos doesn't mention it. He says with the bracha. Does mani because you're reading it in its proper time. Now this is a chiddush. The last halacha. Just conclude with this. Ben ir shoye b'svina o b'derech lo hoye b'yado megillah. Person lived in an open city. He was on the boat, wherever he was traveling. He didn't have Megillah. This was not unusual. A person was way late on the road. It was the winter, and he thought he'd be in the community on the 14th. He didn't arrive till the 15th. Does he read the Megillah on the 15th? So this is a Ben Ir. The one in the walled city, you'd say the majority of Jews read it on the 14th, right? So he could read it on the 14th, as we said. What about a Ben Ir, a person in the open city, to read on the 15th? He says he wasn't able to read it on the 14th. Achnes damno lo b'tezvov, koreos b'tezvov. We're able to read it on the 15th. In the open city. Let's see. Mishna Berura. Koreos b'tezvov u'b'lo brocha. Ukvar over ikos mano avol tezvov ve'eloch lo yikore klav. After the 15th, since no one's reading, tichsiv lo yavor. And that's what the Gemara says, because it says from the 11th through the 15th. Beyond 15th it says lo yavor. Im tov v'kor pashas Megillah b'adarisha and tzarich lasu l'kor b'sheni. It's interesting. Comes out of an interesting question. You have people, a Jew, Amaratzim. They don't know, right? It's like Alan was once met somebody on the golf course. 2 women, and they say, you know that holiday, Yid Hamantash, and isn't that Hanukkah? The story I heard from Alan maybe 20 years ago. Right? That's how people, you have Hamantash on Hanukkah. That's what he's 2 women. So I'm saying, person on the 14th didn't know he was supposed to read Megillah. You say, did you hear the Megillah? He said, what's Megillah? So he explained to him, says, could we still read it? And it's the 15th. Does it have any value to read on their behalf on the 15th? According to this, it has value. Without a bracha, but it has value, because since in the walled city they're reading on the 15th, somebody's reading, you read it on the 15th on their behalf. Comes out of an application, which is not something which is uncommon, unfortunately. Yeah, I understand. Here we're going to the 15th. Here we're talking Ben Ir, person's open city. No, because you say there was legislated for a person of an open city. Okay.